I think I am a useful person in Uganda, but I have never carried a person in my stomach. So, who is more important? Well, I don't want to push the women to become arrogant also. But really, the idea that women are less important than men is rubbish. I have never carried a baby in my stomach. All the human beings you see around here, those who are 6 feet tall, they have all been carried by women. When you are talking about violence on women, the first point you need to remember is ideology. Why would anybody attack a woman? It is because of the wrong beliefs in his head. These wrong beliefs are sometimes from culture, the old culture, which was degrading women. In some of the societies, you hear statements people saying, even in the West, in the West, you remember in the Western countries, there used to be a statement, you spare the rod and you spoil the child. You remember that was an English statement. You spare the rod and you spoil the child. That was in the West. They believed that if you don't beat children, the children will not grow up properly. It was like a proverb in English. You spare the rod, you spoil the child. Now, in some of the societies in Africa, they have such a view about women. Abakazi batungwa nkoni. The women must be beaten in order to behave properly. In some of the tribes. So that is the first thing you must attack. Through education, through sensitization. That's level number one, ideology. It's not just the policing, but also attacking the wrong thinking. This can be done by the Ministry of Women. You can do it through sensitization. That is the first problem, ideological. Well, I don't know about even the religions, because the religions also because they say, one of them which I know well, Christianity, they say the women must obey the husband. You remember, it's in the Bible. The women must obey the husbands should respect, obey and respect. I don't know what the Pope would say. I would ask him once I see him next time. That word, obey and respect. But in the meantime, I'll ask my cardinals here. That's not my job. I'm not a bishop. I'm not. But that's part of the idea that women are not equal. However, we, in our political movement, right from the 1960s, we believe that women are not only equal, but they may be superior to men. Why? I have never carried a baby in my stomach. All the human beings you see around here, those who are 6 feet tall, they have all been carried by women. I think I am a useful person in Uganda, but I have never carried a person in my stomach. So, who is more important? Well, I don't want to push the women to become arrogant also. But really, the idea that women are less important than men is rubbish. Everybody, but especially the girl child, they're the ones who benefited most from universal, what we call universal education. So therefore, while you are talking about the women, violence and all that, ensuring that women, girl children go to school, stay there, and qualify is part of that campaign. And a woman who is educated is more difficult to suppress than the one who is in the village, who is not educated. Then the third factor is economic empowerment. Because that beating and all that, you can actually get some women beating some men if they're economically empowered. They may not beat them, but they can discipline them. If a woman is owning a company, a business company, who would discipline who? She's the one with the owner of the company. She can sack you. She can say, I don't want you here in my company because you have done this. So this beating and all that is a reflection of the disempowerment. When somebody is down, no money, no alternative in life, that's when she can be beaten by stupid people, men and whatever. So it's not enough just to talk, pass resolutions. you must work on the programs to empower the women economically. So ideology, education, economic empowerment, if you really want to help women. These are the basics. Just talking will not solve it. Then number 4 would be legislation. You see, I'm putting legislation as a number 4. I'm not putting it as a number 1. And I will tell you why. Number 4 is the legislation. To legislate against beating women, against, all those bad things. But the reason I put legislation as a number 4, not number 1, is that in the case of Uganda, we already have the legislation. We legislated long ago that women should not be beaten. But they are being beaten. Why? Because legislation alone will not solve the problem if you don't deal with the other 3. Because they even fear to report. How will you punish them if they don't report? They fear to report because the man who is beating her is the one who is feeding her. She has no other means of living. So if she reports and the man sends her away, what will she do? So the legislation is there, but the woman doesn't even report. She just keeps quiet because she doesn't want to lose the small piece of bread she's getting from this stupid man. So therefore, yes, legislation is there. It will help, but if you have addressed the other 3. Then number 5 is sensitization. Because the legislation may be there, but somebody may not know what to do. That's why, therefore, for instance, in Uganda here, we have got a very harsh law. If you defile a woman or you rape her, the sentence is death. Is that not so? Yes. Because of our discipline, we made very strong legislation. You defile a girl, it can lead to death. And rape? Yes. We can be hanged for raping. But people don't report. They just... In fact, in some communities, defilement is like a form of marriage. Because the defilement is to go and get a girl who is below 18 and have sex with her. That's a defilement. But people don't know. Because traditionally, those tribes of ours from the savannah, I would hear them talking when I was growing up. Azrak, that the girl has menstruated twice. Finished. So you people have got a serious job, not just these meetings. The people need to penetrate the society and really do serious work of sensitization. So here we are legislating. We are taking an elitist position. Elitist. I don't know what you say elitist in Francais, in French. How do you say? Huh? Elitist. Yes. Elitist. We are educated. We are members of the middle class. We legislate. No defilement. Traditional. The Wanyankore have their own old legislation. A child has that's how they say it in Wanyankore. I would hear them say, Azrak, it's like a big event. Azrak. So you can see there is a cultural clash between the elite, you people, who are in the conference center. Have you seen the traditional people here? You look at yourselves. All the people in the ties, in the nice uniforms. The villagers are not here. They are there with their own. So, me with my elitist group, Obiga Kanya, the minister, Kareka Yura, the other wonderful lady, we legislated long ago. No defilement. Defilement means having sex with a child who is below 18. Because biologically, a child below 18 is not yet grown enough sufficiently to become a mother. But the Wanyankore don't know. For them, they are still. So now, when they go and those Banyankore there, they call it Okchiriza. They don't call it for you police generals. You call it what do you call it? Kidnapping. You call it kidnapping. For the Wanyankore, they call it Okchiriza. Okchiriza is part of their system where you can go if you don't want to pay dowry, you don't want to take a long process, you weigh a girl, and Okchiriza means to lift. You lift the girl and you take her. And once you have raped her really, then you come to the parents. You come and you say, you know, I have come, your daughter was not taken by a wild animal. It was me. And then you come with the elders. The elders come with gray hair, they come to the other family, and they say, now we have come to settle matters. Oh, now you must bring 20 cows. Instead of the normal 10, must bring 20. Okay, the matter is finished. You, the elite, Kaihura, the generals, you are here in the conference center. There on the ground, things are other new. You find now the two families are united. There was a small problem between us, but we have now solved it. Now the danger is that apart from violating the rights of the child, it is also a health issue. Because the man who lifted her, as they say, for you say kidnapping, for them they say lifting. In the local language they say okchiriza. Okchiriza is to you lift. So the problem is that by lifting you may infect that child with AIDS because you are not checked. You are not checked whether you are what was your situation. So really this is a very serious work. Yeah, you need to do a lot of sensitization because, like in the case of Uganda, the laws are there, but they are not followed. They are not followed by the villagers. But if there was a serious campaign, the structure in Uganda is very strong. It goes up to the parish. Like this minister there, you should write a directive, translated in the local languages, explaining the defilement. It goes up to the parish. Then it is, and you don't only say there is a law. No. It's not there is a law. No, you must also educate them. These children, when they are not yet 18, they are not old enough to carry babies. Their bodies are not fully, you must educate them about that. Their bodies are not fully developed to carry babies. So therefore these children can die when they are giving birth because they are not, you need to educate them. Thoroughly, not just slogans. It is a lot of work to explain to them the why. So that they, then you talk to the children themselves in the schools. In the case of Uganda, we have got to 11 million children in school now. So that's a big population, those children there. 11 million of them. 8.8 million in the primary schools, 1.8 million in the secondary schools, about 200,000 in the, about 300,000 in the universities and 400,000 in the universities, and that's about 11 million children. This is a big population. You should talk to them through the teachers. So have a structured approach the children, approach the families. The children through the schools, the communities through the parishes, and the radios, because the radios are always, they are always abusing Museveni. They are always abusing Museveni, that's all they do. Museveni is very stupid, he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, thank you very much. But in addition to abusing Museveni, also talk about the children. Talk about the defilement. And you can make those stupid radios by order to have health programs there, because it is part of the licensing. You just arrange with the radios 3 hours abusing Museveni, 2 hours talking about economic and social and health issues. That's a good arrangement. 2 out of 5 for positive work, 3 hours for abusing Museveni. You can resume your abusing Museveni as you normally do, but have some hours for positive work. This can be done by order, by the minister responsible. So that's number 4 or 5. I've forgotten my number 1, ideology. Number 2, education. Number 3, economic empowerment. Number 4, legislation. Number 5, sensitization. So number 5. These radios are doing nothing. Okay, they are abusing Museveni. Wonderful. That's good work. But in addition to abusing Museveni, please talk about our children. Talk about the economy. If you don't do that, we close you because you are useless. But then, what I would think would be number 6 is a holistic approach. I'm glad Ban Ki-moon is the one who started this. Now, the problem I have with the UN programs is that they normally think of one program at a time. In some years, they say women, 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 women. Then after some time, say children. Children, 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 children. Then after some time, environment. Now, the problem is that we need a holistic approach. Because one problem alone, for instance, to defend the women, to defend the girl, to do the things I have said about the girl child, how will the government do them if the government doesn't have money? How will the government enforce? How will the government monitor? How will the government support if the government does not have money? But how will the government get money if it does not have enough taxes, collect taxes? But how will the government collect enough taxes if you don't have enough investments in the country, the private sector, companies which you tax to get money? But how will you attract investments if you don't have good infrastructure? If you don't have electricity, if you don't have good transport, how will you attract investments? So you can see that these social programs, education, women's rights, children's rights, in the end go back to the economy of the country. And the economy of the country goes back to infrastructure development. So I think for these programs to succeed, you need a holistic approach. Not just one issue, and then you forget about the others. Then you are not going to manage. You are not going to manage. So I think that would be number 6, a holistic approach, dealing with infrastructure of the country. What is the purpose of infrastructure? The purpose of infrastructure is to lower the costs of doing business in that economy. Have enough electricity at low cost. so that you can attract industries, so that industries can create jobs. When these children are working, they will not be as vulnerable as when they are not working, when they are not employed. But also to help the government collect taxes, have enough taxes so that it can be able to support and to enforce whatever it wants to enforce. In my opinion, these are the 6 crucial points which are all linked. Now, of course, violence against women is cowardice. Because if you want to fight, why do you attack women? Why don't you go and look for men and attack them? So that you can have a balanced fight. Attacking women, people who do that are bullies, cowards who want to get a weaker person to attack. But this can be part of the sensitization. To shame these people who beat women. If you want to fight, why don't you fight fellow men? So that we know that you are a good fighter. You see a weak person, you attack that one, and you But that can be part of the shaming. But when it comes to families, I think Africa now is in a crisis, because part of the violence, even when we have solved other problems, we have solved the problem of education, we have solved the problem of empowerment, I think there is also a problem of culture. Because traditionally, in our tribes, people know how to speak to one another, how to answer questions, how to behave, how to sit. But now, these tribal customs are dying out, and they are being replaced by a vacuum of culture. So you can even find fights starting because of talking badly to each other, because people don't know how to talk to each other. I am gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Now, how would you? So even when there are no economic issues or what, but because of the buyaism. In Uganda here we have got a very good word, buyaism. Muyai is, we would call it in Francais, element déclassé. Element déclassé. Declassed elements. People are just behaving like they have no culture. This is a big issue which we need to talk about. How do this ministry, like this Ministry of Women, Ministry of Culture, to synthesize some of the old customs, the good ones, so that when the children are growing up, they are helped. They are helped. If the families can help them, train them how to talk, how to behave, it will be good. But children just grow up like wild trees. There will be a problem. Yes, if we solve education, we solve empowerment, then you will have new problems like the breakup of families. People get married, after 6 months, they divorce. Because they don't know how to relate to one another, how to talk to each other, how to, you know. They are wild. Mu abaana mulina okumanya abazadde balina okubayigiriza engeri y'okwogeramu, y'okubuuza abantu, y'okutura, because in the tribes, everything was regimented. How to talk, how to sit, how to eat. For instance, in my tribe, you cannot talk when you are eating, food in your mouth. You are supposed to eat, chew the food, swallow, and then you talk. But now somebody with food in the mouth is talking. When I went to Europe the first time, I was surprised. Working lunch. How can we talk when we are eating? We are not supposed to talk when we are eating. We are supposed to eat. So me, what I do, I eat it before. When I come to working lunch, I just come to sit there because I cannot manage to talk and at the same time eat. It's terrible to talk when you have food in your mouth. But now, this is the culture of other societies, that you have working life. So I don't do anything. I eat early. And I just come and sit there to talk because I cannot manage it too. So how are you going to handle all this transition? It's a big challenge for the families and the societies as a whole. Yes, the children now have problems. We now have problems because of lack of this, lack of that. But we are working on that. In time we shall overcome it. But even after that, how about the civilizational level? We need a new rational culture, distilling some of the old customs, and I will give you an example as a way of concluding. In the past, we used to have arranged marriages. In my tribe, when a boy was 16 or something like that, I would go and negotiate with the family. The boy will not be involved, and we finish the matters, and we bring the girl and we say, "Talk further, we have got a wife for you." That was the old way. Now, this one is no longer acceptable. The children must get their own partners. That's fantastic. But for me, I'm still reserving my role when my children were growing up. I did not want to retire completely from playing a role. So I retreated from being on the front line, but I remained in the background as consultant. The idea was you go and reconnoiter, and if you see something good, come and ask me about it. Because I may give you an opinion. You may say, I have seen so-and-so's daughter who is wonderful, then I may know something about that family, because I'm a consultant. I may know something about the family. I say, no, that family, no, because there is something there. Now, if my children now dismiss me from my job of consultancy, then how do I make an input into these people's lives? So you can find all sorts of complications because of unplanned breakdown of the old society without being replaced by something well thought out. So as you talk of violence, yes, some of the violence is due to shortages, lack of jobs, lack of education, lack of money, but even with money, even with no economic hardships, you can have a cultural collapse. As has happened in some of the Western societies, because those Western societies have everything there. They have most of the things, not everything, but most of the things. But the families are broken down. There are no families. Now there's a new concept of a new family that a man can marry a man and a woman can marry a woman. So you can see that there are a lot of issues. That Ministry of Women and Culture is a very serious ministry. You need to really do a lot of thinking how to distill good things from the past, discard the bad ones, and synthesize the good, and you give it to our children there. So with these few words, it is my pleasure to do what? What am I supposed to do? Oh, I now open it.